Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Diego with the beautiful Karina, my lovely prometida. And we are waiting for our K1 visa to get adjudicated at the Service Center in California. And our NOA1 date is April 18th, 2022. And we hope you are doing well out there in YouTube land. We hope you are hanging in there as you wait patiently for your K1 visa to get adjudicated and approved at the Service Center, which is more than likely going to be California, because California gets 93% of all K1 visa cases. Now, this video, we have a viewer here who asked me a question. What are the main reasons that K1 visas get denied? Well, Relaxstation, your YouTube handle, Relaxstation, come on along and I'll explain it to you. Now, probably the biggest reason a K1 visa gets denied is not meeting the income requirements and not getting a co-sponsor to help you if you do not meet the income requirements. Now remember, when you go to your embassy interview, you're going to have your form I-134 with you. You're going to have your tax return, latest tax return, W-2, latest tax transcript, etc. And they must match, and pay stubs, and also a letter from your bank telling, giving the information about your deposits for the past year. If you don't meet the federal minimum guidelines for income, you're going to have a joint sponsor, unless you're in the Philippines. If you're in the Philippines, you cannot do that. You have to meet the income requirements. But the number one reason that I've seen is meeting the income requirements. But there are other reasons too that a K1 visa can be denied. So come on along and I'll give you a heads up. If you don't prepare, Miss Beneficiary, Mr. Beneficiary, for your visa interview, you got to prepare for your face-to-face visa interview. That's another reason that a lot of K1 visas get denied. Right there, sitting in the office at the consulate in the embassy, because you flaked out on the interview. You couldn't remember questions. You couldn't answer questions. Everything was, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, I don't. You just got to be confident and when you go to that face-to-face visa interview, be confident, be courteous, be professional, be businesslike, dress in a business attire, and answer the questions. You should know everything about your sponsor, Miss Beneficiary. Everything. You should know his mom's name, if he has any brothers or sisters, if he's been divorced in the past, what his income is. You should know what your address will be in the United States. You should know everything about your sponsor. Everything. What's his favorite food? What's his favorite color? What kind of car does he drive? If you can't answer those simple questions and you flake out at the embassy interview, there's a good chance you'll be denied. Now, another reason a K1 visa could be sent back to you, Mr. Sponsor, is because you made a ton of administrative errors when you put your K1 visa package together. You forgot to sign the form I-129F. You didn't date it. You misspelled your beneficiary's name. You messed up the paperwork somehow, okay? You got to pay close attention to details, because immigration pay close attention to details. They will go through your K1 visa package with a fine-tooth comb, and then they're going to give it to another person, which is part of the reason why the K1 visa process is slowing up, is because in the past only one person would look at it and then move it to the next step to the MVC. Now, 2 people look at your MVC package, maybe 3, if they don't have a good feeling about it. Okay, so be very careful and pay close attention to typos, spelling mistakes. Make sure you don't mess up your fiance's passport number, her date of birth, etc., etc. Attention to detail. Another reason a K1 visa could be denied will be you were not honest, Mr. Sponsor, with your paperwork. Okay? You did not provide accurate information. Let's suppose in the past you applied for a K1 visa. Now you're allowed 2 K1 visas under the IMBRA rules. So let's suppose 20 years ago, 10 years ago, you were married to a foreign national, went through the K1 process, got divorced, and she's now living, in a different state happily with her new husband. You got to include that information in your second K1 visa. You got to be honest, you got to be upfront, and you got to tell immigration, your past history. Don't try to hide anything, okay? So not being honest in your package will result in a K-1 visa denial. And immigration will find out. They got tools they can dig in your past even the FBI can't find, honestly. So be truthful in your visa package. Another reason why a K-1 visa could be denied is you're not eligible for the benefit, okay, for which you applied for. Let's suppose you're only separated from a previous partner and not divorced, okay? You have to be fully, completely divorced with a final divorce decree in your K-1 visa package to be eligible to apply for the visa. If you apply for your K-1 visa and your divorce is pending, you've got 3 months until your court date, and then you get a divorce paper approved. Don't send in your K-1 visa package. Don't do it. Wait until you have the final divorce decree in your hand. Okay? So you may not be qualified because you don't make enough money, and you can't find a joint sponsor. You got to qualify for the benefit for which you're applying for. Another reason the K-1 visa will be denied is you don't comply. You haven't complied with the IMBRA rules, so the International Marriage Broker Act of 2005. Okay, the IMBRA rules were put in place to protect the beneficiary and then of her children, if she has any children, plus to protect you, Mr. Sponsor. So you must be in compliance with the IMBRA Act. And which means, if you can't submit a K-1 visa for somebody who is under 18 years of age. All right, now big age gaps are not a problem with immigration, just so long as they comply with the IMBRA rules. If you filed more than one K-1 visa in the past, you cannot file for 3 K-1 visas. You got to get a waiver. You got to get a Mother May I permission slip from the government, from Homeland Security, which is USCIS. Okay, you can do 2, but you can't do 3. Which is part of the IMBRA, okay? So make sure you comply with the International Marriage Broker Act of 2005. Another thing I've seen in some of these Facebook groups where the beneficiary arrived in the United States, oh, congratulations, but they didn't get married within 90 days. They got married in 100 days, 120 days. And then they submit their adjustment of status and they wonder why their green card gets denied, which is basically canceling out your K-1 visa. So be sure and make sure, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, when you bring your beneficiary to the United States with her K-1, with her K-2 children, get married within 90 days. And I recommend that you process the adjustment of status within 90 days. Don't let your I-94 time out, which is your permission slip to enter the United States legally. So those are the main reasons, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, why a K-1 visa gets denied. There are other reasons too. There's lots of other reasons, but those were the main ones. And we will see you very soon in the United States of America with your K-1 visa in your hand and your K-2 visa, children. Don't mess up, okay? This is a stressful process. Understandably, it's a difficult process, but it's an easy process if you follow the rules and you don't rush. No rushing. Don't rush to submit paperwork. Make sure you fill it out properly. Don't forget to sign the form. Don't be telling stories to immigration, okay? And if you have a felony criminal record to do with domestic violence or against children, don't even apply for your K-1 visa, okay? Don't even apply. You will not get it. You won't get it. Have a great day, boys and girls. Hang in there, ladies and gentlemen, and thanks for watching.
I'll be back.